They're off. Pretzel Stumble coming out of stalls. This is the Group 1 Keeneland Phoenix 2-year-old stakes. 5 runners over 6 furlongs. Well away, Little Big Bear heads them off the end of the first furlong from Persian Force. Chartage on the outside of the outsider Apache Outlaw, and dropped in last of the 5. Heading on towards the end of the opening quarter of a mile is Bradcell in the red and white colours. It's Little Big Bear. That one's a market opponent who shows the way under Ryan Moore towards halfway from Persian Force, Russell Ryan, Chartash and Ben Cohen just third from Apache Outlaw, Declan McDonough. And although the back marker is Bradcell and Holly Doyle, they're very tightly boxed up with less than 3 to go. In the Group 1 Keeneland Phoenix 2-year-old stakes, Little Big Bear challenged on the far side by Persian Force and Bradcell. Couple of lengths back to Chartash and Apache Outlaw. They race with a furlong and a half to go, and it is Little Big Bear still shading it, and now quickens away from Bradcell, followed in third by Persian Force, but clear of the field is Little Big Bear. Dominates another renewal of the Keeneland Phoenix for Aidan O'Brien. That was mightily impressive. Persian Force next with Chartash, Bradcell, and last of the 5 Apache Outlaw.
Let's just see if we can have a quick word with Aidan O'Brien. Aidan, I think the view of just about everyone, yes, you're entitled to puff out your cheeks. I think just about everyone feels they've seen something a little bit special there, but what was your view of it?
Yeah, listen, Gary, he obviously looks very special horse. Listen, we always thought it from day one that he was something different. He's big, he's powerful, he's strong and he's fast, uncomplicated. Ryan was delighted with him. We were delighted with him in Ascot, and when we were thinking of coming here, we decided to come to the trial here the last day, and like we thought he was very impressive. TJ who travelled him up, and John and Alex, everyone that's in charge of him, Joe rides him, Seamus, Wayne, everyone that rides him are always very impressive, and we felt that he had progressed. So lovely ground. It was a very good race, Gary, so that was the thing we were going to find out today. The best of the 2-year-olds were there, and obviously it was great that the 2 English horses came, and the boys really fancied both of them, so it's good. And that's what we want here, is the best horses to come, and the track was beautiful. We were hoping to get a lead, but Ryan was happy to lead if he had to, and he jumped into it, and like he was doing his own thing in front, but when he asked him to quicken, like we felt that he was very impressive, and Ryan was very complimentary to him, and it's not too many horses that Ryan is very complimentary of. He's obviously he would be always more critical than complimentary by nature, and that's the way and that's the way he has to be. He's realist, you know. So, but he was very, very complimentary of him.
And Aidan, you've got such a good handle in juvenile form. You've obviously got a lovely bunch of 2-year-olds this year. The one thing I suppose people were a little surprised that he didn't run in the Coventry. He went for the Windsor Castle, which maybe mightn't have the lustre of a Coventry Stakes. Just maybe explain the thinking behind that. Was it a gradual build-up? Yeah,
listen, we knew he had loads of speed, and obviously we were trying to divide up the horses. And then we had the other horse that obviously won in France the last time, and we were trying to, and like we felt that like this horse had an awful lot of speed, and you're not sure with that speed how far they'll stay. But Ryan was very certain after that day that he was going to be very comfortable going 6. Even though he said that, we had to kind of come here and see before we came back to this race. And like obviously he galloped through the line the last day as well, and he did the very same thing today. So listen, I think he's a lot of options, Gary, and the lads can decide what they want to do. They can go to the Morney with him. They could go to the Nunthorpe with him. They could.
Would that be a genuine possibility? Do you think?
I don't think he's short of pace in any way. He's strong and he's mature. He could go to the Middle Park, could go to the Dewhurst, and one little thing is when he came up here, he kicked the wall, and the clip of the shoe went into the sole of his foot, and he was a little bit ouchy on it after it. So the lads had to obviously re-shoe him, and he was still a bit ouchy. So it was a big call by everyone to obviously Lynn Hillier and John Halley. They got together and they discussed him and looked at him, and they decided that it was the right thing to let him run, you know. So like very thankful to them now for letting that happen. And Rory did a great job putting the shoe back on him, and so listen, and he could be a bit ouchy tomorrow and for a few days after that, and it's like you breaking the nail of your finger. when it originally breaks, it can be sore. So that's the way he could be for a few days. But he'll have a week or 10 days doing very little anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem. So it'll depend on how all that'll be and what the lads want to do really.
I've got to be honest, I was expecting you to say straight to the National Stakes from here, and I'm sure that is one of those options. But is this just an exceptional horse who could end up being a Guineas horse, but yet could be capable of competing in something like a Nunthorpe?
I think so. Obviously, like he can, like looking at him there, he gallops through the line, so you wouldn't imagine 7 will be any problem to him. But if you see him, the very first, like he steps into it very quick and he travels very strong. So that's he's a lot of natural pace there too. So which is what's important. But then he gallops through the line as well. So listen, delighted to have him really.
I can imagine. Is that natural pace that you mentioned, Aidan, just at the back of your mind maybe when you maybe think of the Guineas longer term?
Yeah, no, listen, obviously you're never sure, Gary, how far that'll carry him. But I suppose the good thing about him is he is relaxed. And he is very big and he is very powerful. Like he's not like he's a very big mature horse. He's big wide back on him and big shoulders on him, and So listen, he's a lot of options, and listen, it was good to get today over with the things that had happened, and then make a plan with him really.
I mean, you've achieved most that there is to achieve in this game, but would you quite fancy a crack at something like the Nunthorpe with him? Would that really excite you?
I think so, and it'll probably depend on the horse, how the horse is really. Whether, I suppose it'll be a few days before we see how ouchy he is on that foot or not, and then we can make a decision or a plan. So what we want to do or what the lads want to do. So but at the moment, like obviously he's very exciting, and looking at him, you wouldn't imagine going further wouldn't be a problem, but and at the same time you wouldn't imagine going back to 5 would be a problem.
Aidan, can't let you go without a word on Joseph. A huge day for him as well. He's out stateside, he's represented at Saratoga as you are, but how proud of your son to see him churn out 1,000 winners there with that first winner.
Sure, it's incredible, Gary. Obviously you could not even dream about it. I'm so delighted for them. They work very hard. I know Joseph works day and night, 24 hours every single day. They do an awful lot of work. He's a great team. Obviously delighted for himself and Tara and everyone, but I know that, and everyone is involved. I know the work they put in, Gary. It doesn't happen easy. He's a great team of people with him, and they all pull together and work very well together. But listen, I can't tell you I'm delighted for him, because I know how much work he puts in, and we know how hard it is to have any winner, let alone to have 1,000 winners. So it's really incredible. Something you couldn't really believe, really.
Have you had a chance to speak to him yet? I know obviously they're a few hours behind over there.
Yeah, I did, and listen, I obviously congratulate him big time. It was incredible. It's one of these things. It's just. It's for his age, for that to happen, and there's so many big races in there, with the 1,000 winners. He's won so many races that we haven't been able to win. So incredible, and so delighted for them really.
Memorable day for you all, no question. Aidan, you might wrap it up by winning a big one out stateside yourself with Stone Age. What's the word on how things are going with him?
Yeah, he's good. He's drawn a little bit out. Listen, he's a good strong traveller. Johnny Velasquez rides him, so hopefully he'll hit the gates well and hopefully go forward. He seems very well. He looks to have come forward from his last run, so it's back a furlong and it's a tight track, but we've been very happy. Alan is out there with him with Pat, and they're very happy with him. His work was very good before he went. Seamus rides him in his work, and Alan rides him out every day, so but they're very happy with him since he went out there, and we think he has come forward, so hopefully he runs well, Gary.
It'll be some way to end off what's already been quite a day. Aidan, many thanks and congratulations again.
A pleasure, Gary. Thanks very much.
Well, Ryan Moore has just partnered Little Big Bear to a scintillating win in the Keeneland Phoenix Stakes. Ryan, it was billed beforehand as potentially the best edition of this race for a long time. Do you think we've seen potentially the best winner of it for a few years?
You couldn't be more impressive than what he was, Gary. He done everything beautifully today, as he did in the Anglesey the last time. Obviously, these horses, they came here, they looked like they had good form in the book. Coventry winner, July Stakes winner. The horse of Johnny's that won here, and it looked a strong race, but he was just a different level. So obviously we're delighted with him.
I mean, I've just heard Richard Hannon, the trainer of Persian Force, say that he never thought he'd see his horse beaten by that far. Could you have envisaged an explosive performance like that from him?
Well, I'll be honest, he gave me a super feel the last day, and maybe he didn't beat much in the Anglesey, but he felt really good doing it. So it's hard to know what he's going to do, but he feels very good. He's very exciting colt.
Thinking back now, I mean, it's hard to believe that he did get beaten first and out, but has he made just the perfect progression ever since then in your book?
He's a big horse, isn't he? And big scopy horse. He probably stood over everything in the ring, didn't he? Yeah, we were surprised he got beat the first day, but that happens. And he's just stepped forward every time. So obviously, very happy with him.
I don't think there's going to be any issue with 7 furlongs. Would you be confident about him over a mile as well? No reason not to be, is there?
Yeah, there's every chance he could hopefully be a Guineas horse next year. But we'll get this year out of the way first, see what it shows us, and see what it does over the winter, I suppose.
And Ryan, outwardly looking in, there don't appear to be any flaws in him. He ran gun barrel straight to the line throughout that last furlong. There's nothing to nitpick about, is there?
No. Look, he's a very straightforward horse, and he's just doing that on his pure ability. I don't have to do anything on him.
Well, it was a joy to watch. Well done. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.